In this video, we will talk about matter, mass, and weight. And by the end of this video, you should be able to explain what matter is and identify things that are and aren't matter, and explain the difference between mass and weight. Matter is all the stuff that exists in the universe. Matter can be living or non-living. Some matter is easy to see, but other matter is not visible to the eye, especially if it's very tiny particles. In science, matter is defined as anything that has mass and takes up space. We'll talk about what mass means in a moment. Examples of matter include French fries, a cell phone, your hand, air, and this cat who is walking on my computer as I try to make this video. Examples of things that are not matter are emotions, fire, gravity, and the vacuum of space. I'd like you to pause the video now and fill out the table in your notes pages. Provide some examples of matter from your own experience and examples of things that are not matter. Now let's talk about mass. Mass is a measure of the amount of matter or stuff an object contains. Mass does not depend on size or shape. It's possible for two objects that have the same size and shape to have different masses. For example, bowling balls and soccer balls have very similar shapes and sizes. However, the bowling ball has a greater mass because it has more matter in it. And one way you can tell that the bowling ball has more mass is that it's harder to throw than the soccer ball is. Let's talk about units of mass. You're probably familiar with units of measurement like inches and centimeters, which are both used to measure length. As with length, there are several units we can use to measure mass. The system of units we use for science is called the SI system, which stands for the International System of Units. The SI unit for mass is the kilogram. Other common SI units are the gram. 1,000 grams makes up 1 kilogram. The milligram is another unit that's commonly used. 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. The imperial system of units is another system that's used in the United States in everyday situations. The unit of mass is the slug. We don't use the slug much in science, so you don't have to remember it. Mass is sometimes confused with weight. But mass and weight are not the same thing. Weight is a measure of the force of gravity that is pulling down on an object. A force is a push or a pull. When you push an object, you exert a force on that object. When you pull an object, you exert a force on that object. To exert means to apply. Apply a force. Gravity is a pulling force that exists between any two things that have mass. There is gravity between two objects that are touching, but there is also gravity at a distance. The more mass an object has, the stronger the force of gravity and the greater the weight of the object. Another way to say this is that weight depends on the amount of matter that an object contains. Remember the soccer ball and the bowling ball? They're both the same size, but the bowling ball has more mass, and we can tell because it's harder to kick across the soccer field. Well, because the bowling ball has more mass, it also has a larger weight. The force of gravity between the bowling ball and the earth is greater than the force of gravity between the soccer ball and the earth. Because planets are different sizes and have different masses, the force of gravity is not the same on each planet. Planets with more mass will typically have larger forces of gravity. We will explore this in a future lesson. Even though an object's weight may not be the same on different planets, its mass does not change because the object is still made of the same amount of matter, no matter what planet it is on. An astronaut who weighs 110 pounds on Earth and 42 pounds on Mars will still have the same mass on every planet she visits because a person's mass and the amount of matter the person is made of does not change no matter where they are. In the SI system, the unit for weight is the Newton. In the imperial system, the unit for weight is the pound. You should now be able to explain what matter is and identify things that are and aren't matter. You should also be able to explain the difference between mass and weight.